Hey guys, so the last week or two, there's been a lot of talk about Canelo Alvarez versus Amir Khan at catch weight of 155 pounds for the WBC middleweight crown, and a lot of boxers and a lot of people on YouTube have been talking about the fight, talking about Kell Brook, the other fighters in the division, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Porter, those sort of people. Even Maidana has been slated to come back, or Robert Garcia's been saying he's coming back. So I thought I'd just quickly talk about in and around the welterweight division and some of the key components that are involved in this fight, or at least in its vicinity. So yeah, I mean Canelo Alvarez versus Amir Khan, big fight, massive fight in the States and even in the UK. I mean pay-per-view all day, Mexico as well. It's a massive fight around the world. I mean, kudos to Amir Khan. He's taken a big fight. One I'm not convinced he's gonna win. I don't think he's going to win. Let's just put it that way. I think Canelo will stop him just because Amir Khan's recovery powers are not great at all. So, yeah, I'll put it out there. Canelo, I think, is going to win by stoppage within 8 rounds, I'd say. Um, yeah, Keith Thurman has come out. I think it was yesterday evening, and he said Canelo is an easier fight for Amir Khan. He's taken the easy option. He says Canelo's flat-footed. He's got poor hand speed. He's easier to hit, whereas Brook is got better timing, um, more athleticism, and is just generally better in the areas that can trouble Amir Khan. Uh, the one thing he gives to Canelo is that he's a big puncher. So I don't know how that will play, obviously, into Amir Khan's game plan. If he can run all night, then maybe. But I think eventually Canelo will catch up to him, and I think Keith Thurman also says the same. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's the same with Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman obviously was being called out by Errol Spence by Mayweather. So I don't actually know if you can consider this the same, that he's facing Porter instead of someone like a prospect like Spence. I'm not exactly sure. So I don't think it's exactly the same as Spence's, as I say, a prospect who's coming up. He hasn't really faced anyone. I mean, he beat Van Heerden in his last fight, who was a good measuring stick. He's a good gatekeeper. So yeah, but I don't think it's exactly the same. I mean, Kell Brook's an established 147 pounder, and I wouldn't say Amir Khan's running because he's gone for one of the biggest fights out there, but it leaves a lot to be desired for Amir Khan. I mean, Amir Khan can always fall back on the Kell Brook fight, which he has said in the last week or so that the Brook fight will always be there. So it I mean, it's tough for Brook to see where Brook goes now. So we go on to him, and I mean, Danny Garcia unification possibly. I mean, Amir Khan's still mandated to face Garcia by the end of June, July, I think. So he could get a title shot there if he comes off a loss to Canelo. And even GGG's been saying I won't face Amir Khan if he wins at catchweight. So that option's dead and buried there if he does win, which is a big if for me. And yeah, for Brook is difficult, as I said. Garcia unification possibly. Porter Thurman winner. Would Porter want to fight him again after, I think Brook beat him pretty handily, in my opinion. I think he beat him 8 rounds to 4, I'd say. Give or take a round if you want to be generous or be a bit harsher. Um, and then obviously you have the Bradley and Pacquiao winner has been stripped. There's no WBO belt on the line. I think that's been contested by Saddam Ali and Jesse Vargas. I think that will be the fight because Ali is the number one WBO mandatory. So I assume it might be that fight, but that title is now vacant. I mean, whoever wins that, Brook could face the winner and unify. But it's tough. I mean, on Brook, his options are really limited. I know he said to Eddie Hearn, give me Golovkin at 155, which I don't think will happen anyway. And it was bad timing, I think, from Eddie Hearn to bring that out on IFL. So I don't think that will happen. I just think after the Bizier fight, Brook's really, really limited in terms of what opposition he has. I mean, as I said, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, they're tied up. And then obviously they won't be in camp for another couple of weeks after they fight. So, that option's off the cards. I mean, Spence is rising the IBF ranking, so he could be his next mandatory by next year possibly. So the welterweight division is it's not red hot, I'd say. I mean, it has a lot of big names, but the names aren't fighting each other, so it's difficult. Maybe why Amir Khan's moved up, I don't know. Obviously, it's a huge, huge fight. I mean, Canelo's not going to drain down to 147 anymore, or to even 152, 153. So, Amir Khan moving up. I mean, he weighed in on Fight Night, I think 162 or something like that, against Devin Alexander. Sorry. So, I mean, it's tough. I mean, the welterweight division, the big names need to be fighting each other. I mean, they constantly get linked, but it's not like the heavyweight division, as I said the other day. They get linked to each other. I mean, Joshua is supposed to fight Martin possibly, and that at least is being on various news outlets, whereas Brook might fight Garcia in the summer, but that won't be talked about at all, or it'll be talked about, but nothing will happen. So it's a problem in the welterweight division. I think they need to start making the big fights. I mean, if that means Eddie Hearn has to take him over to Brook over to the States, or Brook has to leave and go with Uncle Al, or he has to sign with Top Rank or someone like that to get a big fight, then yeah, Brook will have to do it. But I think Eddie Hearn can get him the big fights, but he has to accept that Brook is not a pay-per-view star. His style is just not fan friendly. Whereas even Amir Khan, who does get knocked down and knocked out or whatever, his style is more fan friendly. Whereas Brook is very much a boxer, a boxer puncher. I wouldn't say he has elite power, but he has good power, respectable power. So yeah, it's he's very much a boxer first and then a puncher. So yeah, I think the welterweight division really needs to come. Well, someone needs to do something, get the big fights arranged. I mean, I know Al Heyman has a lot of the top 147 guys. He has Guerrero, who gave Garcia a good fight. He has Garcia as well, Thurman, Porter, Broner, who went down after the Porter loss. He has Amir Khan, obviously. He has a lot of the top 147 fighters, Errol Spence as well. So, I mean, maybe the onus is on him, but I'm not sure. Someone needs to make the big fights in the welterweight division, and I hope they do get made, because there's some cracking fights to be made out there. And for Kell Brook, where does he go now? I'm not sure. It's very tough to say. I would love to hear you guys' comments in the comment section. So just leave that down there. Yeah, so that's me done. And if you like, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and comment on your thoughts about the welterweight division, Canelo Khan, Brook's next options, Thurman Porter fight, and anything else to do with the welterweight division. Sorry. And yeah, catch you guys soon. Peace.